Mann, ich bin's wieder, Kesu Neuhara. Hier mit meinem Let's Play von Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. Und nachdem wir Dr. Crab erstmal ein bisschen in die Mangel genommen haben und er uns erstmal angeschrien hat, machen wir jetzt weiter mit Marlon, der die Schuld wieder Orla zuschiebt. Nur damit Sascha wieder heil rauskommt. Och Mann, ein wildes Durcheinander. Aber wir schaffen es, beide zu retten. Komme, was wolle. Kreuzverhör. The Truth. So. Erstmal müssen wir zu Dings. Order killed the captain by bashing him 30 feet high and making him slam down on the water. Wait a minute. Du willst mich verarschen, Junge. Objection! When lies are piled on top of each other, contradictions start to emerge. This time is no different. Are you saying there's some kind of inconsistency in my testimony? That's exactly what I'm saying. You claimed that the victim was sent flying about 30 feet into the air. But the autopsy report states the cause of death was thought to be from a 65-foot fall. What? Additionally, in your testimony a moment ago, you said at 3:30 a.m. on the 20th, there was still water in the Orca pool. The pool is about 65 feet deep and there's about 30 feet between the water and ceiling. If the pool was full of water as you claimed, it would be impossible for the victim to fall about 65 feet at the autopsy states. Mr. Rhymes claimed he was in the Orca pool room, so he could make these statements. But the truth must be, he was at the show stage, just as Dr. Crab and Sascha testified. I believe that brings us back around to the Orca didn't do it! I didn't believe the witness testimony from the outset. I am grateful to you, Red Dono, for shutting the witness up, as I thought the only person who could have killed the victim is Sascha Buckler. That fact still remains, where the witness was the one who tried to kill the Orca or not. Son of a... Mr. Rhymes was right about one thing. His testimony was advantageous to our case, but pointing out a contradiction in his statement will only drive us into a corner. As Prosecutor Blackwood said, suspicion against Miss Buckler is now deepened! Uh-oh, if I didn't do something fast, the judge is going to find Sascha guilty! Mr. Wright, isn't there anything we can do? There has to be a way to prove Sascha is innocent. At a time like this, the thing to do is turn my thinking around. Instead of trying to prove that Sascha couldn't have done it, I have to think about what made it possible for somebody else to have done it. As long as the crime scene is the Orca pool room, the Sascha is the only one who could have committed the crime. Das Quietschen kann man vielleicht hören. No need for pity, your boldness. Just finish him off with a swift verdict. The priest of defense has no objections! Very well! I will give my verdict! No! Your Honor, please hold off on that verdict. But you were so quiet, Mr. Wright! Do you have something to say now? Schon mal was von Nachdenken gehört? Mann! Ich kann doch nicht laut denken. The defense has a counter-argument. You do? pitiful, such desperation. You look pale. Are you sure you're prepared to make this counter-argument? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. I'll never forget those words, no matter how many years go by. Even though it's probably just a bluff, I'll give it to them with a smile. What if the scene of the crime was somewhere else? The scene of the crime? Somewhere else? What? You're finding fault with the police investigation now? As I understand it, the prosecution's argument is as follows. The scene of the crime was the orca pool room. Only defendant and victim entered that room when there was no water in the pool. Therefore, only the defendant could have committed the crime. That is correct. But if the scene of the crime was not the orca pool room, then somebody other than the defendant could have committed the crime. Are you sure you know where you're going with this? I might not be sure, but I can't back down now. Mr. Wright, I hope that I'm wrong, but this isn't one of your bluffs by any chance? Haha, of course not! The judge knows me far too well. And do you have a theory on where the actual scene of the crime was? Yes, of course. Think, Phoenix, think! Think of a place other than the orca pool room, where one could fall to one's death. Then, by all means, please share your theory with the court. Where was the real scene of the murder? Naja, wenn man sich das Diagramm so anguckt, zusammen mit einigen Hintergrundinformationen, dann kann nur hier der Showpool der Tatort sein. Ich meine, wenn die Höhe ist gleich dem des Orca-Pools, darf auch einfach nur das Wasser entfernen. The show stage pool might have been drained of water at some point as well. And if so, it would be just as possible to fall to one's death there as the orca pool. Right, Dono. What you're doing is a disgrace to your profession. I sincerely hope you have some basis for what you're suggesting. Of course I do! I will, as soon as I think of something. The victim's body was found in the orca pool. How do you explain that? Objection! How about it? After the victim was killed in the show stage pool, his body was moved to the orca pool. How about it? What kind of presentation of your argument is that? You had better have a reasonable explanation of how the body was moved. There's no turning back now. I have to think of way the body could have been moved. Was there something at the scene that could have been used to move the body? Ja. Moment. Hier. Diese Kräne. Wenn das heißt, wenn das überhaupt Kran heißt. Ach, ihr wisst schon, dieser Haken. The hoist runs between the orca pool room and the show stage. The stretcher can be hung from the hoist to move things like Orla or the Skull Rock. The stretcher could also have been used to move the dead body. Yes, if the stretcher can move the orca or the Skull Rock. It seems like it could also move a dead body as well. Wow, somehow that worked. I just might be able to pull this off. If the show pool was the scene of the crime, somebody else could have done it. Objection! You desperately spew conjecture, and now you even make up a crime scene. Not again! You don't have the soul of a warrior. You don't deserve to be on a battlefield. And even your fabrication is half-baked. It's a disgrace. What do you mean, half-baked? The hoist can be operated from the Orca pool room only. And the only person who entered the Orca pool room was the defendant. So even if the body was moved, the only one who could have moved was the defendant herself. Och Mano, Simon, du Spast! Einmal machst du mir alles kaputt! Oder! So it comes back to defendant, no matter which pool it was! Meaning, I can't clear Sasha either way. Sasha said she moved Orla and the Skull Rock. And I believe her. So could it be possible that she moved the body herself without being aware of it? Mr. Wright, do you have an objection to Prosecutor Blackwell's claim? Do I have an objection to the claim that the defendant moved the body? Naja, also... Wenn das tatsächlich so ist, dass Sasha nicht mal gewusst hat, dass sie den Körper bewegt hat, dann spricht für die Aussage von Blackwell, dass sie den Körper bewegt hat, an sich kein Widerspruch. I have no objections. Miss Buckler must have been the one who moved the body. What? Mr. Wright, are you admitting the defendant committed the murder? No. I'm simply conceding that she was the only one who could have moved the body. However, I contend Miss Buckler was not aware that that is what she was doing. So, the culprit made her move it, unbeknownst to her. The defendant moved a dead body without recognizing that it was a dead body? How could that be possible? The body was found in the Orca pool. It must have been moved there somehow. I might find some kind of hint in the things she moved with the stretcher. The culprit made Miss Buckler move the body along with this piece of evidence. Naja, innerhalb dieses Schädels. The Skull Rock! Miss Buckler told me yesterday that she moved the Skull Rock when she was cleaning. The only two things Miss Buckler moved to the Orca pool are Orla and the Skull Rock. I would like to suggest that the victim's body may have been inside the Skull Rock. What? Hidden inside the rock, the body could have been moved to the Orca pool with the hoist. At the show stage, Marlon Rimes loaded up the Skull Rock with the body inside. And then he used the walkie-talkie to let Miss Buckler know the rock was loaded. Miss Buckler operated the hoist from the Orca pool room and moved the stretcher. She moved the rock without knowing the body was inside. Do you really think there's enough space inside the Skull Rock to place a body? The swashbuckler flyer indicates it could be possible. Please focus on the question at the bottom left. Oh! It says, who will obtain the golden coins hidden in the Skull Rock? In that case, I suppose the rock is most likely hollow. What's more, if the body was inside the Skull Rock, it explains the remaining unanswered questions. Such as? Please take a look at the security footage of the scene Mr. Plume witnessed. Where did the body that Mr. Plume saw come from? Please recall. What was Orla doing to the Skull Rock at this time? She was headbutting it. Ooh! That's right. Orla's ramming released the body from the Skull Rock. The body had been placed inside the Skull Rock and moved there from the show stage. I assert that the real murder scene was, in fact, the show stage pool.
Silence.
No! What rubbish is this now? You don't have a single scrap of evidence.
Objection!
Halt's Maul! It's easy enough to verify what I say. Take a look inside the Skull Rock for yourself, du Spast. You should find some kind of proof that the body was there. Blood, fibers, hair. Ah! Right, Dono. Ha! Gegeben! Und! Du wurdest bedient! Mr. Wright, that was incredible! You turned things completely around! And to think, it all started with that half-baked bluff too! You? That was a close one. You don't really have to add that last bit! If the murder takes place at a show stage, then who is the perpetrator? It is, naturally, the person who was at the show stage. Mr. Rhymes, weren't you the one who loaded the Skull Rock onto the stretcher at the show stage? Wow, Mr. Wright. That was some pretty smart brain work you did there. To be honest, I never thought you could figure it out. I tried to protect myself, but I guess it came back to bite me. Are you confessing you gave false testimony before, Mr. Rhymes? That's perjury! Yeah. What Mr. Wright says is true. The body was inside the Skull Rock. And it's true the captain was killed in the show pool too. What? He's admitting it that easily? This time, I'm gonna tell you the whole truth about what happened that day. Das hast du schon mal gesagt und dann haben wir dich wieder auf frischer Tat enttappt. Mal sehen, was für Lügen jetzt kommen. In the show pool, the orca shot the captain up into the air. Then the captain came down and slammed onto the water. I can still remember the spectator screams clearly. All Sasha did was move the body. She was trying to protect the orca. When Mr. Plume witnessed the orca finding the body, I freaked. So now we're back to the orca again, I see! If you were going to give testimony like that, why did I bother putting you on the stand? All I'm doing is telling the truth. That day, Sasha wanted to do the old version of the swashbuckler spectacle. So I suggested she hide the body in the Skull Rock and move it to the orca pool. I was gonna figure out what to do with the body after the show was over. The orca is the one that killed the captain. It wasn't me, and it wasn't Sasha. So it was Mr. Rhymes' idea to hide the body in the Skull Rock? But if Mr. Rhymes is the culprit, why would he protect Sasha? False charges against Sasha would mean he himself would escape suspicion. So why? Mr. Wright, how about if you leave this to me? Athena, do you mean you heard something? Yep, noise. The scored in Mr. Rhymes' heart. So that means somewhere in his testimony there's an inconsistency in his emotions. Alright, Athena, give him a good concealing session. You got it, boss! Bevor wir das aber machen, beende ich jetzt den Part, denn sonst wird das viel zu lange dauern. Und ganz ehrlich, das, was jetzt kommt, es wird wieder geil. Egal ob positiv oder negativ, Bewertungen immer gern gesehen. Das war's von meinerseits. Wir sehen uns das nächste Mal wieder. Sehr geil.